Welcome back to Arise Prime Time, where we offer perspectives on the news and talking points of the day. I'm Charles Aniegolu. Now let's talk coronation, because preparations for the crowning of Britain's King Charles III on Saturday are pretty much complete, and the moment of the sovereign, the oldest monarch to assume the throne in the UK, is come, a spectacle that'll be hard to forget. That's because no one can throw a pomp and pageantry party like the British. The streets of London have been illuminated with sparkling lights and festooned with flags and banners, and for days now many would-be spectators have been snagging strategic spots on the route to Buckingham Palace as the excitement about the moment grows and the hour of the King's crowning comes ever closer. But after the party, what will be his main challenge ahead? Some have suggested that he would have to devote his energies to defending the monarchy against an existential threat in uncertain times. If that is his main problem, can he and the monarchy hang in there beyond this extraordinary moment of spectacular display? Well, one man who's had the rare privilege, if I could call it that, of meeting members of the British royal family, including King Charles when he was a mere prince, and the late Princess Diana, is the football star John Fashanu, also known amongst his many fans as Fash, the Bash, the Cash. And John Fashanu joins me now in the studio.
Charles.
How nice to see you. I was telling Femi Falana about that place you used to have in Golders
London,
Green.
yes.
Where we all used to troop into to try and sort of breathe the air, because you were so famous.
Yes.
And you still are.
Yes, yes.
But I mean, you were spectacularly famous.
I enjoyed life then. Yeah.
Yes. But let me ask you this. Are you a monarchist, or are you a sort of anti-monarchy skeptic, or somewhere in between?
I'm a little bit, Charles, let me be very honest.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit sceptical of what's going on because of the way Her Excellency Princess Di was taken out, whether we believe that she was cold-bloodedly murdered or she just tripped over a stone and died, that's up to you. But, so I'm a little bit uncomfortable with what's going on, and a lot of Britons are uncomfortable with Prince Charles. Even though we're seeing it, wonderful people going around him and signing in autographs, and he's touching people, but there's a lot of trepidation against what's going on.
Well, the question is whether or not, if there was something underhanded, whether he had anything to do with it. I mean, because he may not necessarily have anything to do with him at all. But let's leave that bit aside.
Yes.
Reflect for us, John, your first meeting with King Charles, who was then a prince. What do you recall of that meeting?
Well, Charles, Prince was a wonderful man and is still a wonderful man.
And I think we've actually got photographs of you meeting him.
Yes.
That'll be put on in a minute.
An amazing man. And you must bear in mind, I was meeting him as a black man meeting the King of Kings, the Prince of Princes, a white man in London. And you're not normally going to get a favourable hello or how are you doing. Often you'll get the handshake where they shake the hand and you see them secretly wiping their hand on their on their legs. So I was a little bit surprised.
Yeah, but that's not the King. That's Margaret Thatcher. We need to see the one with the Prince, which is a colour photo.
With our own IBV, of course.
Yeah, that's Princess Diana.
Princess Diana.
And that's you in the background.
That's
now,
it.
there we are. That's you
yes.
with Prince
Charles. Oh, King Charles.
Yeah,
please, yes.
Well, he was obviously a prince at the time.
Yes, okay, yes.
Yeah.
Amazing man. Always got time for everybody, and it wasn't just a put on. It wasn't just he selected me, famous person, and he was nice. He was pretending. Everybody, he was the same.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things where I think that he's actually getting his popularity back again. And you're seeing from the television in London, everybody's now with him, and I'm very happy for him as well.
Absolutely. And as you flip through those sort of old photographs of yourself with him and Princess Diana in London, I mean, what was your sentiment towards the royal family at the time? Obviously, the issue around Diana hadn't come up. I mean,
then.
Yeah, it was all ship-shape.
Just brewing.
Yeah, it was kind of ship-shape and seaworthy.
Yes.
In other words, she hadn't died, is what I mean.
Yes.
And is that sentiment... Clearly that sentiment is different now than it was then.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I've got to be honest, for many, many years, I couldn't understand. Princess Di was such a natural, wonderful person.
I have to admit that I met her. I was a BBC correspondent in Scotland.
Yes.
I was a royal correspondent, and she came to Scotland, and I mean, she's so tall.
Oh, amazing.
Tall and incredibly attractive
Yes,
woman. You're
yes.
just magnetized
Yes.
by her presence.
Yes. And she would talk and start a conversation with everybody. So seeing her pass away so brutally and so quickly, of course, it leaves an enormous hole. So then we're now going back and we're seeing King Charles again. It wasn't quite King Charles myself because I was thinking different thoughts.
Yeah, but the honest truth is that,
Yes.
I mean, there are conspiracy theories.
There
I
are
mean,
many.
like Kennedy and all the
Yes.
rest of them. But
Yes.
there is no evidence.
There's no
to
evidence at
suggest
all.
anything.
No,
so,
no, not at
and
all.
a lot of people
Yes.
remember Prince Charles, before he became king,
Yes.
as someone who's a really caring human
Oh, yes,
being.
yes.
I mean, because he
Especially
has
with
the
the
Prince's
climate
Trust
plants and all things
but
like
also
that.
with black people. I mean,
Yes.
he did a lot for the urban
Oh,
youths
yes,
and
he
things
did.
like that.
Oh, he did.
You know, so
Oh, he did.
he is remembered in
Yes.
that way quite fondly.
Yes.
But let me ask you this. Here we are, of course, in Nigeria, a former British colony. You are a British Nigerian. What do you
Yes.
reckon the attitude is here to the British monarchy?
Well, there's a lot who are saying we don't need a British monarchy anymore. We don't need that.
Well, I mean,
what
Nigeria
they're
has really
saying.
nothing to do
No,
with it.
they haven't got anything
but
to
I
do
mean,
with it.
you mean in terms of their observations?
Yes, the
right?
observations. And I've noticed when I'm with a lot of my friends, obviously, of course, from London, from
Yeah.
England, a lot of them are saying the same things. But I think what we've seen in the last 24 hours has certainly changed most people's minds
Yeah.
around the world. What we've seen, the old Prince Charles going around and he's doing what he does. He has a love for people.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, everywhere you see. And he will stand there constantly for 6 hours, 4 hours, shaking hands, saying hello to everybody. That's the Charles we know. That's the King
that is
Charles
true.
we know. which is
Do you
wonderful.
think the coronation, though, will mean anything at all to Nigerians who are thousands of miles away and who are, if you like, consumed with their own politics and the daily grind of survival?
In the situations and what is going on now, I don't think it will have any effect at all.
Right.
At all. It's a nice one to watch and to smile and to give him congratulations, but apart from that, I don't think so.
Yeah, but I suppose because a lot of people are on, I mean, they take their cue from social media.
Yes, yeah.
It is possible, I suppose, particularly for younger people, that if the coronation plays big on social media, they'll likely follow it.
Oh, and I think they're going to. I think
Yeah.
it's a great opportunity for them to go big as they can. They've got to rebuild now, as we say, King Charles. He's not Prince Charles anymore. We're now going to rebuild him as what they want him to be.
And of course, Charles visited Nigeria a number
Yes.
of times as a prince. I think the last time he was here was during President Obasanjo's inauguration in 1999. And of course, as always, as you were saying, he was a model of British drill and procedure.
Oh, yes. I mean, I can't think of a time where even the media, and I
Yeah.
say that with trepidation, even the media couldn't find anything really negative to say about King Charles. That's the lovely thing. I mean, one of the things when you know you're known is the media will always find something to say somewhere. But with Prince Charles, no.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite a remarkable person. And of course, you grew up in the UK, so
Yes.
you're no stranger to the pomp and circumstance of regal pageantry.
Yes.
What can we expect to see tomorrow in London during the coronation? Although, obviously, you haven't lived through a coronation. I mean, the
No.
last one was nearly 80 years ago.
Yes. No, I haven't lived through one. Thanks very much, Charles.
Well, no, you haven't. actually.
No, I haven't. No, let's not go there,
Okay.
Charles. I think that it's going to be an amazing, unforgettable day tomorrow. That is for sure. And I think that as we say, King Charles has time for everybody. So nobody will be left out. And I think that, I say that. What about Harry? Harry is going to be kicked out. I mean, I do think that the royal family, if there is a challenge there, is going to be his son Harry, which might...
Yeah, but I don't think there's going to be any issue
Well-
with tomorrow.
No, not
I mean,
with
obviously,
tomorrow.
everyone's going to be
Yes.
in their best behavior.
Yes, very much
certainly
so.
the royal family
Yes.
members.
Yes.
I don't expect there's going to be an issue there. But
Yes.
for me personally, what I enjoy the most in these kinds of
Yes.
things, for example, when you think of the Jubilee and so on and
Yes.
so forth,
Yeah.
it's always the procession.
Yes. Thousands and thousands and thousands.
I mean, and just the absolutely regal
Yes.
nature of it. You see what I
Yes.
mean? The horses, the golden
Everything.
carriages,
Yes.
the procession through the streets down the Mall,
Yes.
down,
Yes. Yeah.
Horseferry Road or Horse Guard Parade,
Yes.
then to Buckingham Palace. I mean, just an extraordinary sight to
Yes.
behold, isn't it?
Well, once you've seen one, I mean, it's there forever.
Yeah, it is.
Because it's something which it can never be replicated anywhere around in the world.
And the amazing thing about it is that it's a tradition that's been preserved for
Yes.
centuries.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
repeating itself over and over
Yes.
again. New generations doing essentially
Yes.
something similar. But what an amazing history.
Well, I mean, the truth is, we are crowning a king.
Yeah.
So, and it should be something which is memorable.
And a king who presided, whose family presided over an empire.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
arguably the biggest empire in the
Well,
world,
it
in
is,
world
isn't it?
history.
Yes, yes, it is. And I think that tomorrow is going to be an amazing day. It's
Yeah.
going to be an unforgettable day, and it will go on into the next day.
Absolutely.
Because night doesn't come, that's for sure.
Absolutely. So what do you think the future holds for the British royal family? Do you think they'll be around for some time to come yet?
I think it's ordained.
I mean,
that
William
they
is
will
coming up and
definitely-
all
yeah,
the rest
William's
of it.
coming up.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't think that the royal family are not a family that you can just push away with the wind.
Mm.
The royal family are endemic in the system, so they're going nowhere at all. There will be some ups and there will be some arguments with the family, which we have in all families.
Yeah.
It's nothing new to us, but theirs will be publicised a little bit more than normal,
Mm.
and so you're reading things which Harry's doing, and you're reading things which this one's doing, which are not quite true, but they're not enough to break the family.
Yeah.
So I see King Charles being a true king and being somebody there that we, to be quite honest, still got access to him.
Okay, that's excellent. So, I mean, let's move away from King Charles and talk about the other king. That's yourself, who's
I don't know about that.
who's a football king.
Yes,
but
yes.
what I want to do is this, because you've been doing some absolutely amazing things recently. Yeah. Let's look at this. Is you doing skating on ice?
Charles, I don't want to.
What is it? Dancing on ice.
Dancing on ice. Yes.
Which
yes.
is a huge program.
Yes.
In the UK. I mean, it's watched across the whole of the British Isles.
Yes.
And let's take a look at a clip of him doing and then we can talk about it.
Say, eat my gold! Say ho! Say ho! Whoa! Whoa! Eat my gold!
Wow.
I'm impressed.
Really?
Although I have to admit, I'm a good ice skater.
Yes.
I do it quite well.
So you will know my faults.
Well, I know what the challenge. I could actually feel your tension in
Yes.
there. For example,
Yes.
when you leapt up into the air, because that's the big
Yes.
challenge: balancing
Yes.
on that blade
Oh, my goodness.
when you land and you
Yes.
don't keel over.
Yes.
And I suspect that during
Yes.
rehearsals you might have fallen
Yes.
over a number
Well,
of times.
Charles, let me be honest. What you saw in my eyes was called tears. I was absolutely petrified. And I will say that I don't know what it is, but for most blacks, Africans around the world, globally, ice skating is not really for us.
Well, to be honest, I love ice skating.
Yes,
and
I
I
can
still
see that.
do it till
Yes.
now. My daughter is an absolutely superb
Really?
skater, and she and I go and
Yes.
do. I mean, I've done it, for many
Yes.
many years now. But I mean, that was your first time of skating, so you did a
Yes.
pretty terrific job.
Charles, that was my first time of even getting close to ice.
It must have been a daily sort of
3 months.
rehearsal thing.
3
yeah.
months hitting it every day.
Yeah.
3 months to the extent, Charles, where you get up in the morning
And your ankles and your
ankles,
because that's
your
where the
back,
pain,
your neck. These are scary things.
Yeah, yeah.
I took the
That's
to bring
your
one along. Yeah, I thought
That's
I
your,
kept it with me.
that, for people who don't know,
Yes.
it is a big challenge balancing on that blade.
It is,
I mean,
Charles.
if you really want to know, and
Yes.
the pressure that it puts on your
Yes.
foot, on your leg,
Yes.
all the way up your thighs
Yes.
and everything is an
Yes.
enormous challenge.
Yes. I think,
Well, you're a
Charles,
strong man, and
well, that's
you're
what
a
I
pretty
thought.
fit guy.
But I think, I think,
So that's what you
Charles,
thought, eh?
Yes. At the end of it, I deserved to take those boots home. I didn't
Yeah.
win. I was out first, by the way, everybody. Don't think that I did fantastically
And
well.
it was one
'cause
of
I
those things
didn't.
where the audience votes you out.
That's
on it.
exactly it, and they voted me out straight away. So,
And you were
Charles,
relieved.
I was relieved, yes, and satisfied. But
Yeah.
it's another string to the bow. Now I can skate on ice. I couldn't do that. So the different things that we're learning as you're getting older
Yeah.
in life, it's great. We're bringing them together. and
Well,
I
I'm
enjoy
glad
it.
you had the experience.
Yes.
Now, I mean, the one thing I would, I mean, obviously an ice skating rink
Yeah.
is a fairly confined space.
Yes.
I wouldn't take the chance of going skiing, for instance.
No,
I mean, that's
very
a little
wise.
bit more
Yes,
frightening.
yes.
And I'm not like a big fan of
Yes.
heights and so on. But there are a lot of other things that are coming up, aren't
Yes.
there? I mean, you've
Oh,
been doing
yes.
a lot, like the
Oh, yes.
Gladiators and all the rest of them.
From the Gladiators, the Deal or No Deal, and
Yeah.
all these different television programs. So, in actual fact, that really was the ice on the shall we say, the end of the shows, because when I finished that, I was happy that I'd really fulfilled all the things that I wanted to do, Charles, and I was happy.
Well, I'm glad you did. But there is something you're doing in Nigeria, because people always say, well, having done all these things,
Yeah.
you're famous internationally. I mean, you're a household name in the UK. You know, what have you sort of given back to Nigeria? And you've got your own football academy here.
Well, it's a sports academy,
Yeah.
fully comprehensive sports academy, where we have some of the best young, not just footballers, Charles, athletes. Basketball, it might be boxing, it can be netball. We have it all there.
And is it based in Abuja?
It's
here?
based in Abuja,
Okay.
John Fashanu Sports Academy, and it's going fantastically
Right.
well.
So what qualifies someone to become a part of that academy?
Well, you come, you enroll, we look at you and say, yes, you're good enough. I'm going to work on you and make you better.
Right.
Or, out you go, no thank you.
Right.
Very simple. There's no middle at all.
So what are the criteria then?
Well, the criteria is John Fashanu, who's been in the game for 35 years.
Right.
I will assess you and I will tell you for football. Then we've got martial arts. Luckily, I have 3 or 4 black belts in
Yes,
martial
I
arts.
remember that
So
you've
again,
got, yeah.
I will now look at it. I'll look at the things and I'll say, I've got other coaches who will now take you on and start training you. And there we are. We're giving you an opportunity because, of course, once I've given you that 2 weeks, whatever it might be, then of course people around the world now want to have a look at you and say, oh, I'd like to have a look at you. Big Fash has trained him.
Well, we're looking at you leaping into the air.
Oh,
there.
yeah, wow.
Did you make those sort of blood-curdling noises?
Well, I tried to, yes. I tried to. There's the man himself.
Yeah, the producer Lakon is just talking to me, doing the noises
The
in my
noise.
ear, and I'm trying to see if you're
Yeah.
if you kind of well that's the famous
Jackie
Jackie
Chan.
Chan, isn't he? Yeah.
Yes, an amazing man, and I
Yeah.
was taught by Jackie Chan for nearly 2 years, an amazing martial arts
he is a
expert.
remarkable person. And there was the other bloke, what's
Steven
his?
Seagal?
Steven Seagal, who's
Yes.
also a bit of a
Oh, he is,
martial arts
yes.
buff, isn't he?
So there we trained with 2 of the best martial arts professionals in the world. So that gives me credence to say that I know martial arts.
Well, I wouldn't want to tackle you in a dark alley.
No,
then.
but you wouldn't want to meet me on the pitch either, Charles.
So it's not a good idea, basically, in either
No,
case.
Either way, I would run.
Yeah, I'd flee. I mean, but you know, how long has your football academy, well, your sports academy, how long has it been around?
1 year now,
Right.
and we've been able to get 3 players into professional football
Right.
abroad, which has been fantastic.
Well, that's excellent.
yes,
So you
yes.
act as an agent?
Yes,
for
I
them
act as an agent, as a
Right.
manager. We manage them and we look as an agent, but not just in football. If it's martial arts, great. If it's football, well, even great. Netball, ladies football. So, you know, we're not going to limit it to anybody. We say sports academy, fully comprehensive.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I mean, well, here you are, John. You've done everything. I mean, when I say everything, I'm including skating,
Yeah,
which
add
is
that
about the
now.
only thing that you hadn't done.
Yeah.
But you've never considered Nigerian politics?
No.
Is
Red
it-
flag.
All right,
Red
all right.
flag.
Let's hear
Red-
it.
yes,
What's
yes.
the red flag?
Run. That's what it means. Very simple. Red flag, no. I actually get a lot of business from the politicians. And the politicians always seem to be very, very confident and bloody rich. Excuse my language. Very, very rich. So there's a red flag there, Charles, and I don't like that so much. So I try to just have a one-on-one relationship with most of the politicians, and I know most of them.
But you've been honoured by you've met
Yes.
presidents and all the rest
Yes.
of it. Nigerian past presidents and so on have
Yes.
have met you, and I mean we saw that photograph. So it's not like you're allergic to
No,
politicians. I mean,
not at
certainly
all.
in the UK, we saw the photograph with you and Margaret Thatcher and all the rest
Yes.
of it. The Iron Lady.
That's it. That's it. Which I've enjoyed,
Yeah.
Charles. I mean, it's lovely meeting people who are also equally successful in their own way of
Yeah.
life. It's a pleasure. It's nice.
But I mean, when you look at the huge monies that these football stars make today,
Yes.
I mean, you made a considerable amount of
Yes.
money, but what they're making now, I mean,
Oh.
it must make what you made pale into insignificance.
Well, let's put it this way, Charles. It's all comparison. I think that years ago we were making, if it was £1. But that years ago was a lot of money. That
Yeah,
£1.
yeah, it was, yeah. So it's
Now
comparative,
they're
isn't
making
it?
that's
Yeah.
comparative. Now they're making £20, and again, it's a lot of money.
yeah.
So, you know, we look at it and say football itself is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Whether you go in 30 years ago or 10 years ago, it's a lot of money.
John, I want to thank you very much.
Charles, as usual, it's a
Great
pleasure.
to have your reflections with us, and congratulations on all the great things you're doing. And if you do more, come and talk to us.
Lovely. Thank you.
John Fashanu is a well-known international football star and, of course, an international personality. Thank you
Don't
very
forget
much.
ice
indeed.
skating.
And, of course, now an ice skating. I mean, are you going to go back and ice skate?
No.
Okay, on that note, that's it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Join us again next week. From me and the entire team here in Abuja, bye-bye and thank you for watching.